Hello everyone and welcome to a new mech gameplay video. This is September's mech for MechWarrior Online 2018. This is the Incubus, also known as the Vixen. I've painted it in Jade Falcon generic colours. Having a quick look at it here in the mech bay, where I have made very little changes, in fact none, to the build, which is a large pulse, 2 ER mediums and 4 machine guns. I have put skills, it's a rare thing, but I have been doing it with new mechs now, so just showing you the skill trees there, maxed out the armor one as best I could, and I got the maximum speed, because speed really helps this thing. And we're going to glide over to the gameplay. Ooh, smooth. So, this is a 30-ton clan light battle mech, not an omni mech. It was primarily used by garrison forces on captured worlds and within clan territory as well, with the intent basically to act as a fast recon mech and being able to engage enemy forces and be able to melt away. But primarily it was used a lot by dueling groups on planets, usually as a means to settle grievances, disputes, that kind of thing, because garrison duty, even for clanners, gets really tedious and boring. And so yeah, the Incubus was popular for that, much like the Goshawk / Vapor Eagle. Is also another clan battle mech that was used for dueling purposes quite often. It's a popular mech, as I said, amongst the Jade Falcons, but examples of it can be seen throughout most of the clans, but primarily used by the Falcons, and I believe Steel Viper and possibly one other, Ice Hellion and Hell's Horses. Those 4 clans use the Incubus quite a lot. My initial impressions of it, if you were on the live stream, was I was a bit unimpressed with this mech being added in the first place. I don't really see why you would go for something like the Vixen and now the Vapor Eagle at a time when they're not really sticking to the original looks. They've sort of made an interesting amalgam of the original design combined with the later redesign. And if you go on places like Sana, you'll be able to see what the original art looked like for the Incubus and what the later art is. And as I said, this mech looks very similar to both of them in different ways, and they are kind of a mashup of the two. Not a bad compromise, I have to say. And finally playing it, my initial reactions were negative about being added, but as far as gameplay is concerned, it's actually quite fun. It's extremely fast, as I said. Once you get the skills for speed tweak up there, it is incredibly quick. The one thing it probably suffers the most from is a severe lack of heat management. The mech does have 4 energy hardpoints and 4 ballistic hardpoints, which means you can make something that's quite deadly, akin to certain builds on things like the Locust, the Piranha, that kind of thing. But the standard build has a crippling shortage of ammunition for 4 standard machine guns. 1100 rounds or half ton of ammo, it just really doesn't do it. I mean, I've got 1100 because I've got the one of the skills that increases your ammunition count. But yeah, it's a paltry amount of ammunition. We'll run out extremely quickly, so if you do want to make a machine gun heavy build, you'll probably have to tinker with the weapons, obviously drop the large pulse down, mess around with the ER mediums, but there is potential. A lot of the weaponry is built into the side torsos, so you don't have to worry too much about your arms, although 2 of your energy hardpoints I believe are in the left arm, 1 of them is in your right arm. But it doesn't mean that your mech is completely crippled as soon as you lose 1 of your arms, which is a big plus in MechWarrior Online, of course, because being able to keep fighting after losing some limbs is always important for players, and I think the Incubus is good for that reason. Its hitboxes seem actually quite generous. I imagine attacking this thing, you do have a good chance of hitting where you're actually aiming, whereas one of the big problems with light mechs has always been the case that you may fire at, say, the side torso and it registers the arm. The Incubus feels big enough that that will happen. When you shoot the side torso, you hit the side torso, which is a nice little bonus there. Oh, and the hitching, that's just the map changing time of day, that's just the game screwing up there. So yeah, great amount of firepower can be brought about. If you do lose a side torso, the heat management is nigh on non-existent. The mech will very quickly overheat, and even currently, as you can see here, firing the weapons with just the ER mediums and the large pulse will very quickly start to cook your mech, and that's because the mech does not have a lot of heat sinks to begin with. It has no extra heat sinks, in fact, and as such will suffer very quickly. It does come with all the standard upgrades that clans have, so it's got ferro armor, it's got double heat sinks, and it's got a endo steel chassis, so you don't have to worry about that with any upgrades. You're purely going to be looking at the build. As a point to mention here is the cockpit gives you a fantastic field of view. Me running my new FOV, thanks to Davros's suggestion. You can see here that even when it's pulled back this far, you've still got a pretty clear sight line, so you can spot enemies all around you as you're moving. Let's see, what else about it? It probably does suffer a little bit of LSAS because of the two arm sections being lowered down, but that is compensated for by the fact that your machine guns and your two side torso mounted energy hardpoints are quite high up, as you can see there, firing the medium lasers. So it compensates a little for that. As I said, speed is phenomenal, 159 kph with speed tweak and the engine that it comes with by default. I'm sure you can probably get it a little bit quicker with a different engine. I think there is a higher engine than what it comes with, available in MechWarrior Online, but it's whether you want to sacrifice some firepower for a little bit more speed. And yeah, the only problem I've got with it for its maneuverability is the lack of jump jets. It's actually quite odd to have a mech that's so fast but actually lack the jump capability. It's almost like playing some of the medium mechs in the 40 to 45 category. It's a bit weird. You suddenly have to rely on actually being able to use the terrain a lot more rather than just hopping your way out of trouble. Overall, I think it's quite a fun design. It's certainly got potential. All of the variants that are available in game outside the hero are actually canon, so as far as the chassis series is concerned, there's going to be 4 more Incubus videos of the version 2, 3, 4 and 5, all of them displaying different weapon setups. So there's one that's got missile hardpoints, there's one that's got more of an emphasis on energy, which I believe is the Incubus, might be the 2. There is one that's basically just all energy. I think it's got like 7 energy hardpoints, so you can make some frightening builds out of that thing. Oh, nice touch. Unique engine sounds. Actually, really cool to see somebody taking the time to make the mech seem distinct again from an audio perspective. As I mentioned in the past, I always feel that audio in games is one of those things that you'll always remember long after the images that you see, because your brain plays tricks on you, obviously, and you remember games looking better than they actually did, but the sound will never change. And that's one of the things about MWO that really sticks with you, certain engine sounds and weapon sounds and such, and it's nice that this has its own unique resonance there. So hats off to them. Animation looked nice. The mech looks very pretty in game. No complaints there. It's nice having another clan light, and yeah, it's fun. If you're a clan light player, I think the hard points, if you take a look at it on the store page, will probably find something that you'll enjoy. If you've been looking for something a bit different, or just to give yourself another challenge, grind up those skill points, get another one up to 91 skill points, I don't think you'll be disappointed. And with that said, we're at the end of the round, the end of the match. Thank you for joining me today, everybody. I hope you have a good week, and I will see you next time. Bye.